Dear students, in this session, let us come to know 50 most important questions of SSLC Science, which is prepared by State Resource Person Shri Raghavendra Bhatt sir. Question number 1. What is neutralization reaction? The reaction between an acid and a base to give a salt and water is known as neutralization reaction. Why should curd and sour substances not be kept in brass and copper vessels? Acids present in them reacts with the metal to liberate hydrogen gas and harmful substances, thereby spoiling the food. Question number 3. While diluting an acid, why is it recommended that the acid should be added to water and not water to the acid? The process of dissolving an acid or a base in water is highly exothermic. The heat generated may cause the mixture to splash out and cause burns. The glass container may also break due to excess heat produced. Next question. Why does dry HCl gas not change the color of the dry litmus paper? Acid dissociates into ions only in the aqueous solution. Next question. What is the difference between strong acid and concentrated acid? Acid which dissociates into ions completely is called strong acid, whereas the concentrated acid is the one which has less water content. Question number 6. Why do acids not show acidic behavior in the absence of water? The dissociation of hydrogen ions from an acid occurs only in the presence of water. Question number 7. Name some naturally occurring acids. Here we can see some natural source and the acids present is in those sources. Vinegar, it contains acetic acid. Orange and lemon contains citric acid. Tamarind contains tartaric acid. Sour milk or curd has lactic acid in it. Ant sting and nettle sting, methanoic acid. Tomato contains oxalic acid. Next question. What is meant by acid rain? How it is harmful to aquatic organisms? When the pH of rainwater is less than 5.6, we call it as acid rain. It destroys eggs of the aquatic organisms. Question number 9. What happens if too much of acid is produced in the stomach? What is the remedy for this situation? When too much of acid is produced in the stomach, it causes pain and irritation. By using antacids, we can solve this problem. Next question. How tooth decay is caused? How can it be prevented? Bacteria present in the mouth produce acids by degradation of sugar and food particles remaining in the mouth after eating. By using toothpastes, which are generally basic for cleaning the teeth, it can be prevented. Next question. Which gas is released when sodium carbonate reacts with hydrochloric acid? How do you test this gas? Write the word equation for this reaction. When sodium carbonate reacts with hydrochloric acid, carbon dioxide gas is released. On passing carbon dioxide through lime water turns milky. We can see the word equation here. Sodium carbonate plus hydrochloric acid gives sodium chloride plus carbon dioxide plus water. Question number 12. Sodium, potassium and lithium are stored under oil. They are highly reactive metals and reacts with air and water very rapidly. So Sodium, potassium and lithium are stored under oil. Next question, what are alloys? Homogeneous mixture of two or more metals or a metal and a non-metal are called alloys. Next one, food cans are coated with tin and not with zinc. Why? Zinc is more reactive than tin. Next question, distinguishing between metals and non-metals on the basis of their physical properties. We are seeing the metals and non-metals and distinguishing between those physical and metals and non-metals and their physical properties. Number one, metals are malleable and ductile. Non-metals are non-malleable and non-ductile. Metals are good conductors of electricity. Non-metals are poor or non-conductors of electricity. Metals are sonorous. Non-metals are non-sonorous. Metals are lustrous. Non-metals are non-lustrous. These are some of the differences between the metals and non-metals on the basis of their physical properties. Next question, what are amphoteric oxides? Give two examples of amphoteric oxides. Metal oxides which react with both acids as well as bases to produce salts and water are called amphoteric oxides. Examples, aluminum oxide, zinc oxide. Question number 17. State ways to prevent the rusting of iron. Oiling, greasing, painting, galvanization means applying thin coating of zinc, chromium plating, anodization, alloying. These are some of the ways to prevent the rusting of iron. Next question, name most malleable metals. Gold and silver are the most malleable metals. Most ductile metal, gold. The best conductors of heat, silver and copper. Liquid metal, mercury. Metals with very low melting points, gallium and cesium. Lustrous non-metal, iodine. Hardest natural substance, diamond. Non-metal which is conductor of electricity, graphite. Smooth metals with low melting points, lithium, sodium and potassium. Next question, define thermite reaction, write uses of it. The displacement reaction of aluminium with iron oxide, which is highly exothermic, is known as thermite reaction. Uses, we can see the uses of the thermite reaction, joining railway tracks and broken machinery parts. Question number 20. Why hydrogen gas is not evolved when a metal reacts with nitric acid? Nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. It oxidizes the hydrogen produced to water. Next question. Differentiate between calcinations and roasting. Calcination. Heating carbonate ores at high temperature in the limited supply of air is known as calcination. Roasting. Heating sulfide ores at high temperature in the presence of excess air. In calcination, carbon dioxide is produced. In roasting, sulfur dioxide is produced. Question number 22. Define amalgam. An alloy which consists mercury as one constituent is known as amalgam. Next one. Write the four properties of ionic compounds. Solids and are somewhat hard, have high melting and boiling points, strong attractive forces between ions. Ionic compounds are generally soluble in water and conduct electricity only in the molten state, movement of ions. Question number 24. What are ionic compounds? The compounds formed in this manner by the transfer of electrons from a metal to a non-metal are called ionic compounds. Next one, name the gas liberated when acid reacts with metal. We all know that hydrogen gas is liberated when an acid reacts with metal. Next one, silver articles when exposed to air gradually turn blackish because silver reacts with sulfur in the air to form a coating of silver sulfide. So it gradually turns blackish when exposed to air. Next question, copper loses its brown layer gradually when exposed to air, or copper when exposed to air for a long time acquires a green coat because copper reacts with moist carbon dioxide in the air and slowly loses its shiny brown surface and gains a green coat. Next one, name any two metals that react with cold water very quickly. Write the products formed when these metals react with cold water. Sodium, potassium and lithium are the metals that react with cold water very quickly. Products formed here are metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. For example, we can see an equation here. Potassium reacts with water, gives KOH and H2. Next question, name some alloys and their constituents and their uses. Alloy, steel is an alloy. Constituent metals of steel are iron and carbon. Special properties, hard and strong. Stainless steel is also an alloy. Constituent metals, iron, nickel and chromium. Special properties, hard and doesn't rust. Brass is an alloy. Ingredients or constituent metals, copper plus zinc. Special property, are not good conductors of electricity. Alloy solder, used for welding electric wires. Constituent metals, lead and tin, has a low melting point. Next question, define covalent bond. A chemical bond formed by the mutual sharing of one or more electron pairs is known as covalent bond. Next one, list the properties of covalent bonds or covalent compounds. Covalent compounds have low melting points and boiling points. Generally gaseous or liquids or soft solids. Are generally insoluble in water but soluble in organic solvents like alcohol, acetone. They are bad conductors of electricity. Next question, why is the conversion of ethanol to ethanoic acid an oxidation reaction? Oxidation of ethanol into ethanoic acid involves addition of oxygen and removal of hydrogen. Here we are seeing a chemical equation. Question number 33. What is a homologous series? Give example. A group of members of the same class of organic compounds where successive members differ by a CH2 group is known as homologous series. Example, CH3OH, C2H5OH, C3H7OH, C4H9OH, and we can say another example here, CH4, C2H6, C3H8, C4H10. Next question, what is hydrogenation? What is its industrial application? The process of converting unsaturated hydrocarbons into saturated hydrocarbons by passing hydrogen in the presence of palladium or nickel catalyst is known as hydrogenation. The industrial application is that this reaction is used in hydrogenation of vegetable oils. Here we can see the catalyst, nickel as a catalyst, by passing the hydrogen gas in the presence of nickel catalyst here. Next question, explain the mechanism of the cleaning actions of soaps. Cleansing action of soaps. A molecule of soap is made up of two parts, that is, number one, an ionic part which is hydrophilic, water loving, and number two, a hydrocarbon chain which is hydrophobic, that is, water hating. Most dirt is oily in nature and the hydrophobic end of soap attaches to the dirt while the ionic end attracted by the water. This results in the formation of micelles. Soap molecule forms an emulsion. The cloth needs to be mechanically agitated to remove the dirt particles from the cloth. Next question. What are isomers? Draw the structure of two isomers of butane, that is C4H10. Organic compounds having the same molecular formula but different structural formulae and hence different physical and chemical properties are called isomers. Here we are seeing the two isomers of butane. This one is normal N-butane and this one is isobutane. Next question. What is catenation? The ability of carbon to form covalent bonds with other carbon atoms is known as catenation. Next one. What is substitution reaction? A chemical reaction in which hydrogen atoms in a saturated hydrocarbon are replaced by chlorine atoms one by one is known as substitution reaction. Next one. What were the limitations of Dobar classification? We can see the limitations of Dobar classification here. He could identify only 3 triads from the elements known at that time. All known elements could not be classified into triads. Question number 40. What were the limitations of Luland's law of octaves? It was applicable up to calcium only. Elements that were discovered after did not find a place. In order to fit elements into his table, he put some unlike elements under the same note. Next one. Advantages of Mendeleev periodic table. He left a gap for some undiscovered elements. When noble gases were discovered, they could be placed in a new group without disturbing the existing order. Question number 42. What are the limitations of Mendeleev's periodic table rectified in the modern periodic table? Elements were arranged based on increasing order of atomic mass. Isotopes didn't have any places. Next question. Why do you think the noble gases are placed in a separate group? Noble gases are inert elements. They are having octet electronic configuration. So they are placed in separate group. Next one. How does the electronic configuration of an atom relate to its position in the modern periodic table? We can see the answer here. The numbers of valence electrons determine the group of the element and the number of shells determine period of the element in the modern periodic table. For example, magnesium atomic number 12, its electronic configuration is 282. It has K, L and M shells, so it belongs to third period. Magnesium has 2 valence electrons, so it belongs to second group. Question number 45. Define atomic radii, how it varies across the period and down the group. The distance between the center nuclei and the outermost electron shell of the atom is known as atomic radii. Atomic radii decreases across the period and increases down the group. Question number 46. State Mendeleev's periodic law. The properties of elements are the periodic functions of their atomic mass. Next one. State modern periodic law. The properties of elements are the periodic functions of their atomic number. Next one. In mammals and birds, oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood get separated. Why? Or another type of question is here. What is the importance of double circulation in mammals and birds? It ensures efficient supply of oxygen to the body, helpful to supply more energy, to maintain body temperature. Question number 49. How are water and minerals transported in plants? In xylem tissue, vessels and tracheids of the roots, stems and leaves are interconnected to form a continuous system of water conducting channels reaching all parts of the plant. At the roots, cells in contact with the soil actively take up ions. This creates a difference in the concentration of these ions between the root and the soil. Water therefore moves into the root from the soil to eliminate this difference. Evaporation of water molecules from the cells of a leaf creates a suction which pulls water from the xylem cells of roots. Question number 50. How is food transported in plants? Transport of soluble products for photosynthesis is called translocation. Phloem transports food materials from the leaves to different parts of the plant body. The transportation of food in phloem is achieved by utilizing energy from ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. The translocation of food and other substances takes place in the sieve tubes with the help of adjacent companion cells. We are seeing that the translocation of food and other substances takes place in the sieve tubes with the help of adjacent companion cells, both in upward and downward directions. These are some of the important questions which may be useful for the upcoming examinations. Most important 50 questions prepared by the State Resource Person Shri Raghavendra Bhatt sir. In the next session, let us see the next important 50 questions. Thank you.